Yo guys, what is going on? Lucky here, and you might be thinking right away, wait, this doesn't look like a regular World of Tanks battle. And yes, you're absolutely right, because this is the Battle Royale game mode that World of Tanks recently added to the sandbox server. So the concept of this game mode is pretty much the same as on other popular Battle Royale games like Fortnite and PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. But in this video, I'm not going through about what this game mode is all about, because some other World of Tanks YouTubers already did that. So if you have no clue what this game mode is all about, and if you have no clue what Battle Royale even is, then I highly suggest to watch Quickie Baby's video about it first. I'll link the video in the description of this video down below. So again, if you don't know what this is all about, go watch QB's video first and then return to this one, since this video is mainly going to focus around tips and tricks on how to be as successful as possible in this new game mode. And since April Fool's is tomorrow and Wargaming put this on the sandbox server yesterday, I'm pretty sure that this game mode is going to be the April Fool's special game mode for this year. And to be honest, I've played a few games in it and I absolutely loved it. This might be the contender of my all-time favorite World of Tanks special occasion minigame. But without further ado, let's get started into the tutorial. So right off the bat, the first thing that you need to do before even clicking on the battle button is picking either the T-54 Lightweight or the WZ-132A, since those tend to be the most combat friendly starter tanks in this game mode. So once you've done that and loaded into the battle, the first thing that you need to do is looking for those orange upgrade circles that give you a tier 10 vehicle. And while doing that, avoid all conflict with each other at all costs and only fight if there really isn't any other option. So as you can see in the distance, I spot a red circle immediately, which means that I'm obviously going to that, because obviously you need, as already said, to upgrade to tier 10 as soon as possible. But unfortunately in my situation, I'm not the only one who is going for the circle, and I get ambushed by an RU-251. And this is basically a situation where you can't do anything else than finding it out, because I could run away from him, but then he will easily pick me apart, or even worse, he will turn into the, in this case, Object 140 and then chase me apart. So I really have to find him right now, so I try my best. And it's not looking too good for me because he still has the hit point advantage. And this is actually kind of strange, because usually a T-54 Lightweight would be easily able to outclass the RU. But this time it's not going my way, I guess. So I switched to HE rounds trying to pan him. It didn't work as I was hoping to. But now he makes a huge mistake, because he actually misses his shot, which means that the time is now 1 second, and boom, I transform into the Object 140 right before he manages to finish me off. And his reaction now should probably be like, fuck. Now I can easily finish him up, because also it regained my hit points. So there we go, the final shot, and boom, the RU-251 has been taken out. So usually this is not really how you want to start a game of Battle Royale World of Tanks, because really the first thing that you need to do is always avoid combat, but in this case I really had no other option. But the positive thing about it is that I am transformed into an Object 140 quite early on into the game, which is obviously very nice for me, because now most of the enemy tanks still are in their tier 9 light tanks, so I really should have a massive advantage over them. So now you've upgraded yourself to tier 10, so basically the next thing that you need to do is go for those white supply drops, because those white supply drops are very useful indeed, because as you can see at the left of the screen you see some grey squares. In those grey squares you can get certain upgrades like a gun rammer, 6 Sense and all that stuff like that. And basically the way to get those upgrades is by those white supply drops. Not only the whites, by the way, also the greens. And as you can see right there, I'm actually going to one of those white supply drops. And luckily there's also a green one in front of it, so I go there first. Let's see what's going to give me. Oh, it's the repair kit. That's amazing. Also, one thing to note, the first thing that you really need to look after is the repair kit, because for obvious reasons, for tracking and stuff like that. So now I want to go after the white one, but the second threat comes in, is the E50N. And again, in this situation, I can't run away, because I'll easily be able to pick this apart. So I should use my World of Tanks skills to outflank him. So what I know about the E50M is that it's kind of a merge between a heavy and a medium, which means that the turret rotation isn't that great. So if I manage to keep him tracked, I can just run circles around him and the turret shouldn't be able to catch me. And in this situation I'm pretty outclassed, because I only have like half my hit points, even less anyways, and he still has got a lot of hit points. So what I need to do, I need to just keep circling him and keep getting him tracked, and then slowly picking him apart. And also I was pretty shaky right now, so my aim isn't that great. But as you can see, I managed to retrack him again, and I'll just continue to roll circles around him. And this is just beautiful, guys, isn't it? Even if it was a real World of Tanks battle, place like this, I don't know, I just find this place beautiful. He manages to put one more shot in. I squeeze through the little gap, try to get another shot in his side, and now the next shot should probably finish him off. There we go. So also when tanks die, you do get some auto crates. Always pick those up as well, because you will regain some of your hit points and you will regain some of your ammo. And also the second point, ammo, that's also really important, because ammo is not unlimited on this game mode, which means that you always need to be scavenging for more rounds. And obviously if you don't have rounds left at the end of the game, you won't be able to kill the last remaining tank and to win the game. And also remember what I said about those repair kits being so damn important? Well, if that poor E50M had a repair kit, he would have easily been able to finish me off without any doubts. But anyways, as you can see right now, you see the yellow black dotted circle right there. That's actually an indication that a new white airdrop is going to drop, as you can see right there. And when you pick those up, those are very juicy, because it will regain your hit points to the max, and you will get 2 extra specialities, or well, specialities, equipment I should say, with some extra ammo. So those white crates are actually very important to get. So at this point I'm very well stacked on ammunition, and I'm also pretty okay stacked on consumables and equipment. Actually, it's enough to get through the first couple of fights where other people also don't have that great of stuff. So basically, I'm just going for some extra crates just in case, because obviously you want to be as strong as possible as you want to fight your enemy tanks. And as you can see right there in the distance, you see the white smoke, which indicates another supply drop. So obviously I'm going after that supply drop in order to boost up my ammo and to boost up my equipment a little bit more. So let's see what I'm going to get from this one. I get some APCR ammo, and ooh, I get the first aid kit, which is absolutely perfect, because now I have a repair kit and a first aid kit. But oh, it looks like I was not the only one going after that drop, because an enemy STB comes in. And this STB, I don't know, he really surprised me, so he puts a few shots into him before I put the first shot into him. So basically at this point I also really have to fight, because I can't run away. Because, yeah, this is really what happens when I mean which you can't run away. Because if you run away like this STB is doing, the enemy can literally just chase you and put round after round into your rear. Why the STB has very much of an issue to put rounds into me, because he's aiming at the back of his tank. It will limit his gun depression, and because he's moving, it will limit his accuracy. So now I do actually have created a hit point advantage over him. So I basically can finish him off quite easily. Right now, I think this should be the last shot. There we go. So the SDB goes down as well, totaling my kills to an amount of 3. So I pick up his crate, get some extra hit points, get some extra ammo. So yeah, these things right there, actually this is a very bad example of how you should play this game. Because as I already said, you need to avoid combat as much as possible and get stacked on as many things as possible, but also avoid the combat. And when you are stacked enough, you do need to move to those borders. But I don't think I'm stacked enough quite well, I guess, because it looks like I'm going after a second big supply drop right here, which is rather risky, because as you can see right there, there are also two other people going for that. So now I think, no, you know what, it might not as well be that great of an idea. And this is really what I mean with just avoiding the combat, because if I just were to go after those two guys, I would mix into the fight and they will probably or maybe go after me, and that's basically what you want to prevent. And also I just passed another orange circle, and this orange circle wanted me to upgrade to a 105, and in this case you really need to go past it, because an AMX 13105 is nowhere near as good as the Object 140. Simply because it has terrible armor and the autoloader isn't really convenient for 101 battles. So really the only reason why you should consider upgrading to another tank, if the orange circle offers to upgrade you to either a WZ-1115A or a Object 430U, because those tanks tend to be the best brawling tanks that are currently in this game mode. But enough about the upgrade circles. Now let's actually commentate about this tactic right here, because this is actually what I mean, and this is actually what I should have done right from the beginning. after I got some decent supplies. As you can see, I'm kind of hugging the zone. And basically what I mean by zone, if you take a look at the bottom right of the minimap, you can see some brownish squares. These brownish squares means that it's area that's already closed off, so you can't go there anymore. And if you go there, you obviously die. You also have the yellow circles, which indicate that it's about to turn brown. So basically, what you need to do is just drive around these borders and basically let all the enemies eliminate each other. And now you might think, Lucky, why? Because this is so boring. Well, I know it's boring, but trust me guys, this is by far the most effective tactic on winning a battle royale game. This not only works with this game mode, but it's exactly the same story on games like Fortnite and PUBG. Basically, when I started this World of Tanks game mode, I exactly played like I would play on PUBG. That's also when I start getting my supplies and then just camp around the border right here. And basically, this is actually what happens when you drive accidentally in a yellow circle, because you don't get that much damage. It more acts like a warning that you are into zone that's about to close off. And also when you drive through there, as you could hear right there, it kind of, the sound kind of softens a little bit. So that's kind of an indication about that you're driving into a yellow circle. But since we're now actually waiting around the border, waiting for the enemies to finish off each other, I do actually have some time to do a little bit of an explanation on this menu right here. Just you can see, if you open the tab menu, you see how much tanks you destroyed, in my case 3, and how much tanks are still alive, in my case 6. And you can also see the different drops and stuff like that, but I just recommend to go check out it yourself, or go watch Quickie Baby's video, because he did an amazing job on explaining what this game mode is all about and what all the things in the game mode mean. So right now, obviously, because I don't want to bore you to death, I'm just going to fast forward to the combat bit where there's only a few tanks alive, and the bit that you actually need to fight people in order to win. So now guys, we have actually arrived on the part where you really need to do some stuff. So as you can see, the zone is getting very tiny and there are only 2 enemy tanks left to kill. So this is the point where you can't wait for any longer, and you actually do need to come in action and use your hit points advantage to hopefully surprise and obliterate the enemies. And in my case, I got a little bit lucky right there, because right on the path towards the last remaining enemies, there are some very nice light blue massive drops, which will either increase my loadout a little bit more, and ooh, I almost fell off right there. Luckily I managed to break in time, and there we go. I pick up some extra ammunition, some heat ammunition that's going to be very useful. And while I'm driving towards the enemies, I do really want to pick all those light blue mega supply drops up. Let's see what's going to get in the next one. Ooh, the vertical stabilizer is also very nice. But I still haven't seen the enemy yet. Oh, I spoke too soon. There is the first enemy left. And this is the point where it really depends on your World of Tanks experience and your experience with killing tanks. So I pick up the final drop. I managed to get a lot of extra consumables and upgrades that might help me out. So yeah, and this is basically what I mean with the tank advantage, because as you can see in these brawling situations, the 430U is way more effective than the 140, but that's not going to stop me. I'm basically just trying my best to finish him off anyways. But as you can see right there, the other 430U also popped up into the back, and he also is shooting me. So this is the case that you actually want to avoid in the starting battles, that 2 tanks are actually working together to take you out. But in this case, I can't really do anything else than just keep on shooting them. So unfortunately, the heat round get absorbed in the tracks right there. But I think the second round should finish off the 430U. Yeah, there we go. And now I only have 50% of my hit points left, while the other 430U is still at 100%. So this is not looking too good, guys. And yeah, I try my best, but as you can see, the 430U has got such a great advantage on armor and alpha damage than me that it's very hard for me to turn this into a win. I do manage to pan him once, and now the 430 is face hugging me. This means that's pretty much over, because the turret is impanable. I do try to go for his weak upper hull, but it doesn't pan. As you can see, the hatches are completely red, and now I fire some heat rounds, and it does actually pan onto the top of the tank, but he only needs one more shot to finish me off. I put one more in, but there he goes. He finishes me off, and I end second on this game mode. Kinda sad, but for my third game playing on this game mode, I think I did actually pretty well. But now, without further ado, let's take a look at the post-game stats, because as you can see right here, there's a little selector switch that you can switch between the tanks that you were happen to play in this battle. And yeah, as you can see right there, the guy did a cracking job, so GG to him that he won this game. But anyways guys, this basically wraps it up into the guide on how to play the Battle Royale game mode in World of Tanks. So hopefully you liked the video or you found it useful, and hopefully there's going to be a lot of fun when this game mode is most likely going to get dropped on April Fool's Day tomorrow. So guys, please drop in the comment section down below if you're excited for this new game mode. I personally really am. I think it's an amazing game mode. Wargaming did an amazing job with giving World of Tanks a little bit of a fresh breath of air, and if it was up to me, I would just keep this game mode in World of Tanks forever, because this is such a nice game mode to cool down. If you had a few bad games, you can hop in the Battle Royale game mode and just have some fun overall. But anyways, we'll see what Wargaming's plans are with this game mode in the future. All that's left for me to say is have an awesome day, and I'll catch you guys later.
Check it out.